Fireup. Okay, here we go. All right. Actually, Jesse, I'm going to have you start with some of these Core Bridge appointment updates.
Yeah, we got a lot of contracting stuff going on. I saw a lot of people filling out their Core Bridge appointment application stuff. Saw about 25 new people get appointed the last 24, 48 hours. So looks like they're starting with kind of the top upper agencies and RSCs and stuff like that. So if you haven't filled it out, please do. That seems to be about 7 business days or so to get that writing number. But we'll see how that goes from there. Ethos. Yeah, Dave, you want to talk about Ethos a little bit?
Yeah. So Ethos, just so you know, if you guys haven't been on, we've talked briefly about Ethos before. Paul, can I steal the screen for just a sec, bro?
Yeah, do it.
I love when I take it off script, and we didn't talk about this before, and I just do stuff. Paul loves it. So guys, Ethos is an online, and you guys may see ads in your social media around Ethos Life. Ethos Life is pretty dang cool. So we went out and vetted a number of online self-enrollment platforms for life insurance. Now keep in mind, these guys compete directly with agents for business, but it's also something that we got contracted for, and we are going to have contracts for you for. So if you guys have ever seen this before, it's pretty cool. And the concept is that you should be able to any of your old leads, any of your employees that terminate from your groups, on your social media, that kind of stuff. You're going to have your own link. And what it does is it'll take somebody through pretty dang quickly and help take them through what Ethos calls their waterfall, and help them figure out, what life insurance is right for them. And because we are in a world where there's a lot of folks that don't want to deal with a human. I mean, unfortunately, we live in the Amazon world, and we're going to get a huge chunk of folks who are of the final expense age group, my age group, that want to talk to a live human and get an understanding of what they're being and be walked through the process. But there's a huge group of people that just want to click some buttons and get coverage. So what this does is walk somebody through, and you can see how quickly it goes. And as I answer those few basic questions, and you guys see when I click through, it fires through. But anyway, it goes through really quickly. And I wasn't born in Alaska or in the United States, but nonetheless, you guys get an idea. It determined very quickly, like in 5 questions, hey, term life's the right fit for you. And in 5 minutes, they can go through and not only get a quote, but get enrolled with up to $2 million of coverage with no medical.
Wow.
Now, the reason
you can see right there, Dave, just to chime in, unless you're pointing it out right now, but that's the progress bar up top. Right, that dark line going across. So as Dave's been clicking through that, that's how far along he is in the application. So it's pretty quick.
Yeah. See if as I go back, see the bar go backwards. Mm-hmm. So anyway, you guys can kind of see. I'll just put it in so you guys can get an idea how quickly it moves through. If they get stuck in the process and they've gotten far enough to put their contact information, Ethos will also reach out. They have a great nurturing program to go and take those potential policyholders and nurture them through the system to get them closed. Caveat to this is commissions are pretty severely reduced over what you guys are earning on the other side of the fence when you enroll it yourself. But I like to think of it as kind of the last line of defense for you, right? Like, hey, let's go capture this when you're not getting them on the phone. You can't talk to them, and you'll be able to also populate this all over the place, and they can click enroll, and you get paid full commission. If an agent helps them from Ethos on the phone, does not reduce your commission. So, and it uses about 5 different carriers to kind of place the business. So, you guys will see the upline agencies. I don't know if we have any upline agencies on with us. Hopefully those guys will see their contracts this week, and then they'll cascade down to you guys in the coming weeks. And then you'll have your own link. You will have your own dedicated link that you'll be able to share out there with the world. And when you do go into Ethos, you'll actually get a QR code that oh, sorry, I thought I was sharing screen. So you'll get on your site, you'll be able to have your QR code. You can download it, populate it wherever you want. Keep in mind, it's not even close to as good on commission side. In fact, like the guaranteed issue option that's in here, commissions drop down to that 25 to 30% range. So it drops pretty. On the GI side, term life, whole life is still up, not that far down from what you guys are getting, but just want to be aware that this is coming, and in the coming weeks, you guys should all be able to have your own Ethos enrollment portal, which is pretty slick. So anyway, that's it from me on Ethos. Pablo.
Hey, I'm going to flip the script here too, Dave. Can you give a quick Project Terminator update? And as you're doing that, I've had this question a few times this week.
Sure.
What would be some good questions that they could ask a broker that they have a good relationship with to kind of tee up that conversation?
Yeah, so Project Terminator, for those of you who don't know, like we got Zach and Megan, you don't come from the Aflac world, but what it is where when an employees leave, and I think Paul, you're going to talk a little bit later about turnover. But unfortunately, in the United States, turnover averages about 41% across all industries. That's the average. Varies, of course, right? Construction is higher, hospitality is much higher, government's like 18%, something like that. But what happens is that these folks leave, and the health insurance brokers, do nothing with those people. Now, I've met with 5 different brokers, national brokers, and I ask them that question: what do you guys do with the employees that leave? And the answer is, they literally sit there and go, well, nothing. I mean, the carrier sends them something, I think. And that's exactly what happens. The carrier, in fact, when I was talking to IMA, they're like, I don't even think if they port coverage, we get paid on it. So the carrier goes and keeps the business, but only about 2% of the time. But the broker gets nothing on it. So Project Terminator is using the AI tools that we have, is being able to take a list from the broker. And we have a campaign built to be able to reach out to those employees. And it would be like, hey, Dave, we see you've left employer X. Don't lose your life benefits. You can click here, click below to have life benefits in less than 5 minutes. You can get coverage. Reach out to us if you have any questions. And we have a three text campaign that goes out that way. And so the broker essentially gives us 3 pieces of data: name, phone number, and company they worked for. Those 3 pieces of data are also not HIPAA. They are not protected under HIPAA. That's common. So all of a sudden, there's no question. They're not an employee of that company anymore, so they don't need approval from the company. That's why all the carriers are already sending emails to these people. No problem. So what we do is we give the broker 50% of the commission on those. Half. If you brought us that local broker, if you brought us a broker, and even if they're a little teeny broker, we've done those too. We give you a 10% override on all of the business. So we handle everything. You basically make an introduction, and we've got a few folks who are making intros for us. They literally tee up a call. Me and Paul handle the whole call. We are batting 1,000 on this one, by the way. We have not had a single broker say, yeah, nah, not one.
And Dave, is that what you guys got Noah set up on?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because I got meetings with brokers today and all next week. So we'll chat after this.
Dave, it's awesome.
Nice.
So I've met, just to give you a concept of who I'm talking. I came from the broker channel. For those of you who don't know me, I spent 7 years as a senior group rep for the Northwest, and so I was meeting with the SVP of growth for Acrisure. I met with the SVP for IMA, And they all say the same thing. Could a broker go duplicate what we're doing and just go copy it and go run it themselves? 100%. There's no secret sauce in it. But they don't have time. They don't have manpower. Their account execs are already stretched to the limit just managing their existing book of business. And it's data that they get, but they do zero with. So it's basically low effort, all profit for them. And they get excited about it. So, a small local broker is easy peasy, right? Especially if they're using a navigator or they've got a residential software that they're using for enrollment. Super easy for us to work with. And literally once a week, once a month, whatever they're comfortable with, they send us a file with just name, phone, and company. It's slam dunk. Ethos, back to Ethos. We use the Ethos software for it. But keep in mind too, guys, Ethos is paid as earned. So no big commission day one. It's just a nice steady flow of income. So that's another reason why it shouldn't be your go-to. But for this Terminator project, if you guys have relationships with brokers, or if you've got a book of business that you go, shoot, I want to send out an email or a text to anybody who terminates, and let's see if we can go capture them on live. Cool, let's talk. We can get you guys set up, and literally we are ready to go right now. Bo has actually been working hard as usual on getting set up on kind of our new texting campaign. And on that note, I mentioned his name. Can everybody unmute for me for just a sec? Can everybody go off mute? Awesome. We're seeing just about everybody.
If you start singing, I'm going to mute.
And it is Bo's birthday today.
Hey!
It's Bo's birthday today.
Hey!
Happy birthday
to
you.
you.
Happy birthday to you. Okay, we're way better salespeople than singers.
Yes.
Bo, happy birthday, buddy. Bo
Happy
is
birthday,
29
Bo.
years old
Happy
again.
birthday.
Thank you.
Hey, Dave,
So-
I get this question. I get this question almost on the daily since we rolled out Project Terminator. So
Yeah.
if I have a broker relationship, what are some questions I can ask to kind of tee up that conversation to meet with us?
So question number one, what do you do with what do you do with employees who separate, who terminate? That's the number one question. I'm going to tell you their answer right now. Nothing. You might hear this. Oh, we go after them for Medicare, right? That means they're the people who are moving into retirement. They might go after them for Medicare or refer their Medicare business out or handle it internally. That's it. I haven't had a different from the local guys that Noah has teed up to us to the national guys. They do nothing. Yeah. It's not in their wheelhouse to deal with terminated employees. So ask them what they do with terminated employees, that data.
The closest I had was my meeting with a broker in Idaho yesterday. And he goes, well, I'm supposed to be calling all of them to see if they want to go, but I've not gotten around to it.
Yeah.
That's the closest I've had to a strategy. So yeah, but that's a good question. Okay, so that's question one.
Yeah, that's question one. The next question is, brokers live in a revenue world. Especially those of us who come from Aflac, everything is dealt, and we live in an AP world, premium world. Brokers could give a crap about premium. They don't care about premium whatsoever. They care about revenue. And so the next question is, how much revenue are you making off of terminated employees? And you guys already know what the answer is going to be. If they're doing nothing with them, they're making nothing. The next question would be, and then they're going to say, oh, well, some of them could port their life, right? Because there's a lot of these companies that do offer employer paid life. Some of them could port their life. Ask them the question, what percentage of employees port their life coverage? And they're going to go, no. Well, you can tell them national average is less than 2%.
1.7. 1.7 is national average.
Thank you, Paul. 1.7. So that's kind of really teed it up. So turns their brain on. So they're going, oh, I have this piece of revenue, right? And if they're just average, think about it. If a broker's got their doors open, little small local broker, they've probably got 20, let's just call it 25 cases. And a broker's cases are all typically over 50 lives. Because that's really what it takes to offer health insurance. That's 1,250 people, right? 1,250 people. Well, if they're just average, That's 41% turnover. That means they've got 500, it's hard, 512 people walking out the door every single year. So if you turn around and go, oh, well, what if we got 6% of those to pick up a life plan? That's 30 life plans right there. Right. That translates to somewhere. Well, Dave Williams smiled because he knows what commission looks like on a life plan. That's pretty good money. And for them, we give them 50% of the commission. If you refer to us and we run the whole program for you, we give you 10% of that, and we take the other 40%. And that's what costs. There is cost, by the way, guys. The tools that we do give you, the AI, all that kind of stuff. Every message that goes out, there's a cost associated with it. We pay for every single one, which is cool. Like that's what we're about. So those are the questions you asked. You want their brain thinking about. If I'm a tiny little broker, I have 512 people who walk out the door every single day that I make nothing on. What if I could make something from nothing, right? That's what we're doing. All right, Pablo. What else you got? Anything else for me?
Nope, not right this second. We do have, though, I want to circle back to what Jesse started with, the core bridge appointments. I have been getting this question almost on the daily. How do I get into SureLC? How do I do it? How do I know? I didn't get the email. I get that, right? Birthday boy, can you show us in SureLC how to find this and how to navigate that?
Yeah, so I think a lot of us are spoiled when we went into SureLC, and we get to the end and it's got our contracts waiting for us. So with Corebridge, it's a little different. So as you guys fill out the left and get all that taken care of, you're going to get down to your contracting section, and then under requests, this is where you guys typically would have like a little box here for trans, a little box here for, I don't know, Great Western or something else. But what we got to do with Corebridge is go to create request right here. And then you will get to this screen, which will ask you, well, what carrier do you want to create a request for? And then you just select AIG Corebridge. You're going to either do a transfer or a contract. I know a lot of you have Corebridge from the past, so contract. And then from there, you go right into the app. So, and then of course, if you hit transfer, it just changes the questions. And that's it. So once you do that, now there's one side note I want to add. So I'm going to go back to requests. Okay. I keep getting this question as well. Like, hey, Bo, I've got like all these carriers at carrier that aren't processing. Okay, you guys, I have a Great Western, Transamerica, AIG Corebridge contract. I've had it for weeks, some of these for months. I don't know why, they just stick there. So don't follow along up here and go, oh, there's something wrong. None of that's active or properly being tracked. But anyway, so that's how you do it. You go into requests, and then from requests, you're going to go to create a request and then choose your carrier. And you'll notice there's other ones in there too. So if you guys want to get other ones, such as Sagicor Life, which is a single pay. So somebody wants to do a lump sum payment, boom.
I signed a contract with them. I didn't know. I assumed that I was supposed to, and it was Bo. Bo requested it, and I signed the contract.
I did. Yeah.
So if you want Sagicor,
financial advisors that keep sending me people that want to do single.
We got Sagicor. If you guys want the big brand of Sagicor, we got it. It sounds. I think it sounded like a Star Wars name, so you picked it, Bo. That's what I think.
Oh, totally.
Hey, on
isn't that
note,
the thing that eats the people in the sand? A Sagicor? Isn't that what that thing's called?
Hey, on that note, so if you've asked that question, Joelia still sends emails, so don't get me wrong there. But that is a way that you can be proactive and you can get it done. If there are carriers that you want appointments with, like we had a request this week, somebody was familiar with Mutual of Omaha, so they said, hey, can we get that going? We can certainly get appointments with any carrier. Just let us know. Nicole, you have a question?
Yeah, so I went in and requested for Corebridge and Transamerica. And so I did get an email on Transamerica. I haven't seen, of course, anything on Corebridge yet. So would they stay within this contracting request area? Or once they've started, or does it go away?
It goes from that first area of once you filled it out, you'll see it go up to BGA and then into the third one, which is where Bo showed you where all the ones where you're appointed. So it goes through the process because
Okay.
Integrity through your insurance group will process all the information, and then once it's at the carrier, it sits there until it's active, and then even when it's active,
they still sit there for some
they're
reason.
still sitting there. But if Bo went to his licenses, he'd be able to see he has licenses.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically at BGA means it's processing. At carrier means it's basically either done or you're like a day away from being done.
Yep. And one thing that's in the when you do a create a request, and you had the list where AIG was the first one. OSA, the parent company, One Solution, has anything that's in there is who we're already contracted with, so you can request it. If anyone's outside of that list and you don't see them, just let us know.
Yeah.
And we'll go get it. So.
All right. Yeah, because when I look at the contracting requests and it says at BGA, there's only one, and that's the Corbridge. So the Transamerica that I did is not in here. So I was
Jesse, can you go look up Nicole and see where Nicole is? If you can see on your side, if you see TAs for Nicole.
Yep.
Nicole, we'll research yours out for you on Jesse will run it down.
If I see something,
just so you know, just so you guys know,
Joelia,
who is our licensing specialist, Joelia was out this week with Memorial Weekend. So Zach, I know you've been waiting for some contracts, and so she was out. She's back today, so we're seeing responses. I'm sure she's getting unburied from 4,000 emails from Jesse right now. So guys, that is coming. So just an FYI.
Yeah, because I did get an email from them that a letter
that it was in process
contracting. I just didn't see
we'll circle back with you.
Perfect.
And they do, you guys, when you sign a contract, just like when you sign your Aflac or any of every carrier has their own licensing process. They all do background checks, and some of them use different services. We always call it the FBI background check, because I think that's what Aflac used to use, may still use, I don't know. But they all have their own systems that they use to do a background check. Some of them use View, Aflac uses View. So they all have their own process. So even though you've been background checked for one, doesn't mean that the other carrier uses the same process. So just an FYI.
Awesome. Hey, I'm going to move us along here. We're running a little long. So two really quick things, and I'll turn it to Bo here is we do have Team D Will is vetting a lead source for us. Thank you, Dave, for your services there. And another team in Texas is doing some vetting for us. We do have an exciting new lead source that we're going to start the vetting process with next week. I'm excited for it for this reason. One, we definitely seek out exclusivity, right? We don't want to be providing leads that have been bought and sold several times. So we have another source that they are exclusive. They do it a little bit differently, which I'm excited about, which is you say, hey, I want 20 leads, right? And then once you place your order with them, they go out and find 20 people. When they find 20 people and they go through the same, well, I don't know if they're the same questions, but they find 15 pieces of data. And once that person says, yes, I want information, then they will actually send your picture along with your contact information to the lead saying, hey, thank you for your interest. We've assigned you to this producer to walk you through the qualification process. So we're excited about them. We've been looking at, a lot of different reviews with them. They've all been positive. We want to try it for ourselves. So we're going to vet that out next week. And once we know what that looks like, we'll share a lot of that. We'll share that with you guys. Last as far as updates is concerned, MedSup is really taken off. We've not even focused on it at all yet. We have I think it was 11 apps sold this week, so not too shabby. So we will have some MedSup training coming very shortly for you all. In fact, I was speaking with one of our producers who's been selling it for 8 years. She's more than willing to jump on and share what that looks like. So, Dave, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, guys, MedSup. Again, it's not been our main focus. The comp isn't as high. It's still solid though. I mean, it really is, but it's level commissions. So you're typically looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of 20% level commission on it. So it's again steady Eddie business. The difference is that come OEP, 60% of the business for the entire year. Think of all of the people who are over age 65. 60% of the business gets written during OEP. So October through January. So picture everybody over 65. Drive around. Think about it. That's what the marketplace looks like in 4 months. So, and then and Med Sup is for people with a little bit of money. Med Advantage are folks who are getting basically either massively subsidized or free premiums. But commissions are very solid on that business. So, and Aflac, the power of Aflac's brand in that space is massive. And because they were so new in the business, Aflac, MedSup rates change every year. It's different from folks who are used to, if we're selling life business or Aflac business, stable premiums. MedSup gets re-rated every single year. So Aflac got no rate increase in Oregon, by the way, if you're in Oregon. Most states got a 3% increase this year. That's it, 3. The other top tier carriers were seeing between 7 and 14% rate increases. So the opportunity to capitalize on the brand that you guys are already contracted with, you guys all have a contract. You could sell MedSup today. So if you know somebody who's aging in today, go sell them a MedSup plan. Cool. And you're getting, not only are you giving them the biggest brand in the business, but you're giving them, we looked across the country at almost every zip code. In 97% of zip codes, Aflac was priced 1, 2, or 3. Pretty amazing when you get the best brand, when you get to drive a Cadillac for the Kia price tag. I guess Kia is not a garbage brand anymore. It's a good car now, but back in the day that would have been a good reference. Yeah, you get a Cadillac for a Yugo. There you go, Zach. I just dropped another reference you definitely won't know. A Yugo. You get a Cadillac for a Yugo price.
Way over the head there. So training on that is upcoming. Our plan was to start training on that in the summertime. So we're nearing summertime anyway. But just know that that's a huge value right now that you will be able to bring. So speaking of 97, Dave mentioned that. We want to give you this update. So of course, evaluating our business, you can really gauge persistency in the first 3 months of an application. In fact, the overwhelming majority of policies that fall off the books in the first 3 months. We are almost 6 months in now, and it is pretty cool to see that we're sitting at 97% persistency on the book, which is pretty fantastic. So again, the renewals, not the largest renewal percentage in the world, but it is really sticky business, permanent life. The reason why commissions are so high is because it is so dang sticky. So that's pretty exciting to see. We wanted to share that. So let's jump into the meat of the meeting since we have 25 minutes to go. Life Center, we have shared this with you guys before, but there's still some questions on it. We wanted to go run through that really quickly for you guys again, just to make sure that you're clear on it. Bo, birthday boy, I'll turn it to you.
All right. I am going to go fairly quick, but here's what's great. You guys get to the point where you have an enrollment coming up or anything where you need to utilize the services I'm showing you, get on my calendar and I'll walk you through it for your enrollment, and I'll help you get those censuses loaded. But
and this could be for an appointment for a lead that you've got an appointment for. It doesn't have to be a full Aflac enrollment, by the way.
Correct. All right. So review. When you go into Life Center and register, you'll get to this page here. First thing you need to do is tell Life Center which plans you want it to quote. So if you go up to your name on the top right and go to account, and then you scroll all the way to the bottom of the page, and then you'll see this self-attested permissions. You're going to select life, and then you just add your carriers, and you can do that up here. You see add new. So I can now add new, select whatever carrier. It looks like Corbridge isn't here yet, but they're supposed to be on here any day now. And you would just select the carrier.
I thought I saw American General on there. Anyway.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oops, scrolling the wrong way. American General Live. Beep. There we go.
Boom.
All right. So if I need my producer ID, I would just put that in here, click save, good to go. And you can see I have my Transamerica, my Aflac. I even have Great Western in here. And so once you've done that, you're set up. So now we can scroll back up, boop, 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 boop. Go back to the dashboard. And here's our home screen. So anytime you want to do like a one-off quote, something like that, you can go to the new tab here on the left, big green button. And you're going to see in here people I've already done quotes for. You can add them by just clicking add new. And just a reminder, you guys, when it works a little different than most quote tools, you just kind of put in information and it goes. This one wants to create a contact first. Like it's like you're adding a contact to your contacts thing in your phone. So you'd click add new, fill in the basic information like name, phone number, email. And then once you've done that, you can go into your contact screen or your contact card, so to say, and then you'll have all that information in here. But I don't particularly go through this very much because all I care about is the start quote section. So I'll hit start quote, and it's going to ask me the basic life insurance questions. You know, what state do I live in, male or female, birthday, tobacco use, height and weight. Height and weight is not required. However, if you do not put in height and weight, it will not quote Corebridge or Transamerica. So FYI, if you click next and you're like, shoot, where's all my quotes? I'm only getting Aflac. You got to put height and weight in. Yep. And it's okay to guesstimate. So if they're not 100%, just give what you can so you can get a ballpark at least. So in this case, let's say this is Paul. So we'll give him 6'5" today. And he's a professional bodybuilder, so he's 350 pounds. Let's see. Okay, so now we got to look at conditions. This page doesn't work yet. Eventually you'll be able to put in conditions, and it will automatically route you to the appropriate carrier. Doesn't work yet. Just skip it and go to view quote. So it's probably gonna go straight to guaranteed issue anyway. 350. No. All right. Okay. So. It's starting us off with preferred status. So obviously 350 pounds, maybe not preferred, but you got preferred with Aflac. You've got the Great Western in here. And then we get down to standard for Transamerica, for Aflac, Great Western again. And again, your guys is going to be customized to the carriers you put in. So you probably won't see Great Western. But yeah, so it goes through all the different options. And so if you're going through and you go, okay, I know they're standard, like I've done enough of these. If you're not sure, standard's a great place to start anyway. You just click apply, and it's going to pop up that window and go straight to the enrollment portal for Transamerica or Aflac or whoever you click on. Now, what if we need to change the amount? So we can come up here, toggle, boop, and now we're looking for $20,000, and there we go. But a lot of times when we're talking to people, they have a budget, right? Most people do. So you go to monthly premium and go, okay, what are you looking for? What can $50 get you? Perfect. Put in $50. There we go. Okay. And then they'll go, oh, well, that looks kind of nice. What about 60? Put in $60. So you can play around with this and get a better idea of what kind of coverage they can get. So as you can see here, Transamerica about $6,200. $60 a month. So they might go, great, let's do it. Boom, hit apply, ready to go. All right. Now, what I also wanted to show you guys is for those of you who are in Aflac or Colonial or whatever, and you're doing those group enrollments, I want to show you, I'm going to go back to the dashboard, and I'm going to go back to the new tab. And I want to show you, you guys can import your censuses right here. So if you click import, it's going to give you kind of like, here's all the information we want. You don't have to have all that, but it does save you time. So if you're exporting these from Everwell, that's the curse word I was looking for. If you're exporting these from Everwell, you're going to get almost all this data anyway. And then you just take that file, and I got a test one right here, and you drop it in. Boop. All right. Now what it's going to do is it's going to say, looks like it's recognize some information. So now I need to choose the column. So it wants me to match those columns up. And so this is the only part that a lot of people kind of glaze over and go, huh? But this is what you're doing. So at the bottom are your choices, and on the top is from your file. So up here, I've got full name. It should say first name. So I didn't catch it. So I can drag that right there. Boom. And then up here, address, drag that, boom. And that's all you're doing. And once you've filled out all of these pulled all these ones from the top down into here. Then you're ready to import, and your entire enrollment is going to be all there ready to go. So all you got to do is click into their contact card, start enrollment, takes 1 second. And you could say, hey, at the end of your enrollment, I quote everybody life insurance. Look what I can get you. Does this look like something you'd be interested in doing? Boom. 50% of the people you talk to are probably going to be like, yeah, let's talk a little bit more about that.
Michelle.
Yeah, I just saw that come through.
Frog my throat. Yeah. Michelle and Bo, can you reach out to Michelle and walk her through that today?
Yeah, in fact, I think what I'll do for you guys is I'll put together, I'll do this in a walkthrough, like a step-by-step walkthrough, and I'll get that posted today. And so when Paul, or maybe we'll just shoot it out quickly, but when we send out the recap email, we'll get that in there for you.
Very cool.
Yeah, hey, Michelle, Bo, I can also assist. I have a little bit of time between appointments today where if you want to go through that together, we can do that as well.
Thanks, Bo.
Yeah, nice. Gracias. Okay. So I want to jump into this real quick, guys. We're finding a lot of success, especially for those of you that have some worksite clients, as Bo was mentioning. So a lot of you are Aflackers. So our good friend D. Will actually brought this to the table a few weeks ago, and I've been doing some research and some trainings on it ever since then. But I want to reiterate a few of these things, the state of the marketplace. So I'll go through this quickly. You've seen me talk about this before. You've heard about it before, but persistency is certainly king in the insurance world, right? We all want those sticky renewals. We want that passive income coming in. And if the porting rate is only 1.7% and employers are turning over at a rate of 41%, it's going to be pretty tough to grow your renewal base, right? Doesn't really matter what product you're placing if they're not porting it. So the name of the game in sales is access to consumers as well, right? And so you all have access to consumers every single day if your work site, right? And so take advantage of that, because this is what's happening. This is certainly a pain point coming out of the pandemic. For the last few years, employers are dealing with this. We're seeing it every day. So with that, I did a little bit of research. I pulled from a few different carriers what's going on in the marketplace, and this one to me really, really stood out. It's this. We called it the Great Divide on our call this morning, but it's this. 86% of employers believe that their employees have a strong sense of loyalty to them, right? And so that's the majority, right? 86% think, oh, my employees love it here, they're great. Where only 36% of employees would actually recommend their employer to a job seeker. Right? So that is a significant divide, in my opinion. That means employers really think they're better than they're doing, and employees are really dissatisfied. They're just not saying it, right? Hence, we're seeing 41% turnover nationwide. So how can we help with that? Well, certainly we know this. We know that benefits speak to employees, right? So 70% of employees are more likely to remain loyal to their employer. So that's going to help, right? If they're satisfied with their benefits. But here's the other kicker to that. They also expect their employer to provide them, right? And so if you're talking to employers, your work site, and you're asking about benefits, you're getting employer contribution, that's great. You know what you're doing for 70% of your workforce. You're meeting an expectation, right? You're not exceeding an expectation. You're just simply meeting an expectation, right? Which also feeds into that graphic I showed you before of 36% saying, I wouldn't recommend working here, right? This one I took from Aflac, which I think is great. Many of you are aware of this. The Aflac Workforces Report is really good information. This is the latest. 74% of Americans feel stressed. 75% are due to heavy workloads. Noah Bailey, I know you're going to really love this one, man. So Gen Z and millennials are twice as likely as boomers to experience high burnout. So people are stressed out, right? Employers think that, hey, my people love it here. They're going to stay here. They're super loyal to me. Employees are not feeling that same way. If you're providing benefits, great, fantastic. You're meeting an expectation that exists anyway. You're not blowing my mind with this thing. And here's the most sought after plans, by the way, of employees. Dental, number one. Number two, by 1% life insurance, go figure. So again, our good friend D. Will, he brought this to my attention. I did some research here, but executive bonus arrangements are a big deal. So here's why it's a big deal, and it's different than just simply providing benefits, right? Again, keep this in mind, providing benefits, that's an expectation. A bonus, however, is not an expectation. It is what the name implies. It is a bonus, right? It's going above and beyond. And so what an executive bonus arrangement does, and really all this is the employer paying for a permanent life insurance plan, right? So the advantage to an employer is this. It's a way to reward certain employees, right? They get to pick and choose who they do this with. They can do it for everybody. They can do it for one. They get to pick and choose. It is 100% tax deductible, right? That is also a really big deal. You can also call it an IRC 162 plan. That's super nerdy, but that's what it falls under. Because it falls under that plan, it does not need pre-authorization. So what that looks like is, many of you are familiar with like Section 125 plans, cafeteria plans, and they have to go through all the reporting to get a plan in place. They don't have to do that with this. They don't need any pre-authorization. And because it's direct, then there's no administrative cost to the business, right? There's no bill reconciliation. There's nothing that the employer has to do on the payroll side there. What they do have to do, however, is just add the money to the employee's paycheck. So that's what it looks like. So essentially, here's what it does. The employer and the employee, they have an arrangement. And the arrangement is, hey, Bo, I really appreciate you. I think you're freaking awesome. I want to go above and beyond here. And so what I want to do is I want to provide you a benefit, but a different kind of benefit. So I want to provide you life insurance, but a life insurance that builds cash value. And the perk and the bonus is this. That has to satisfy two things to qualify under an IRC plan, IRC 162 plan. It has to, one, be a direct life insurance plan. It can't be a group insurance plan. It has to be direct. The employee has to own it, and it has to be permanent life insurance, meaning it accrues cash value, right? So we have those solutions. Go figure, right? It's really what we place. So the perk to the employee is, again, the employer is paying for their benefit. And two, they get to accrue the cash value. The perk to the employer is they get to pick and choose who they provide this for. It's 100% tax deductible. They get to pump it up as, hey, this is a bonus. This isn't just me meeting minimum expectations, but providing a benefit for you. So I already kind of talked about what the benefits are to the employees, but that's what they look like. So with that, I've been going through some trainings with several of our team this week. They're having a lot of success, by the way, as they're running appointments with decision makers in talking to this, because some very simple questions that you can ask are these. So again, if you are working worksite, I would certainly incorporate this into what you're doing every single day. You can simply ask this with a decision maker: are you having any challenges with turnover? Yes or no? We probably know that the overwhelming majority are going to be, right? Some of them maybe not, but a lot of them are going to. Have you tried any strategies, or what strategies have you tried in order to stop that? And you're going to hear, well, yeah, we do provide a benefit, or we're paying them extra, or maybe I'm giving them extra time off. Yes, those kinds of things are some strategies that you're going to hear. But this is going to open the door. Another thing that you can talk to or tell them is this. I don't know, I have a question mark there, but again, employees expect benefits, but they respond to bonuses. And then that opens up the door for you to be able to have that conversation of, let me walk you through something that you can do. And then a very simple question to ask is this. So if you could provide a bonus, what's in your budget that you could provide for these folks? Give me a monthly number, right? And then that's going to give you the starting off point to be able to provide some coverage for some folks. So it's a really cool tool. It's going to ensure that you get some policies paid by the employer, which means that's very sticky business. The other thing it's going to do for you, if you're a worksite person, you're an Aflac or a Colonial person, is this. It's going to give you access to those employees to be able to sell other products. So I ran through that super quickly. Any questions, any comments on what we just talked about?